what's in the bottle. Well, there is a new additive. I don't want to call it a chemical because it's all natural. New additive in the hobby called Nualgi. They offer free samples. It's a 12-week sample. The only requirement, it's free including shipping. The only requirement is a before and after picture of your tank. So I figured nothing really to lose. Look through the testimonials. And I decided, you know what, let me see what this can do for me. And many of you may know that I am a avid person against adding a chemical to your tank. But, as I said, this isn't a chemical. It is a all-natural product that causes a diatom bloom within your system, which in turn, with the addition of the few elements that it also has that will assist in plant growth, coral growth. This is both freshwater and saltwater usable. But it causes a diatom bloom, which in turn takes care of a lot of the more neglected elements within your tank, phosphates, nitrates, some of the stuff that normal test kits wouldn't show you're out of balance in. This takes care of that, which then balances your tank, making your fish and the whole system healthier. If you've been following my videos, you'll know that my Java moss here in my shrimp tank has really been blossoming like crazy, and the last week or so the algae in the back walls really started to dissipate. Now looking back through those videos, this ball of hair algae also has been growing massively. It was probably about that big. So there's still, even with the husbandry that I do with this tank, there's still a lot of nutrient that could be taken care of. As you can see the top of the filter there, I'm getting staghorn, which is high phosphates, some red algae there. So even with good care, a tank can still get out of balance, which is what this product is made to take care of. I started out with requesting a sample from White 20 Long. Upon speaking with them, they also gave me a sample so I could do all three of my current tanks, my 15, which is this tank, my 20 long, and my 100 gallon. So it will be a very nice, thorough evaluation of what this product can do in multiple systems, as we have a full invert system with my one clown pleco, with the exception. My 20 long is a planted community, and then I have my 100 gallon, which is just a semi-aggressive bare bottom with driftwood. So we can see how that affects all three of those tank styles. The dosing is, for freshwater, is 1.25 milliliters per 30 gallons. So for this I need 0.625 milliliters. Their sample just comes in plain black bottle. Actually really glad this didn't freeze in the mail. I got it before work, and thankfully it was about 38 that day when it had usually been about 20. So as you can see, that is right at the top. So if this would have froze, it probably would have cracked the top right off. But I'm going to prepare the dose for this tank real quick. So I'll be back in just a second. So there we have our measured dose. One suggestion I do have for Nualgi, as they have a rather concentrated mix, if it came with either like the eyedropper style cap or a like a 3mm syringe that is marked in the 0.1 or 0.2 gradients, that would be extremely helpful for some of us. For example, I had to drive around and try a couple of different pharmacies in Walmart and Meijer to get a syringe that had a small enough gradient. A lot of the syringes only have a lot of the easily available syringes only come in like a 1.25 increment. And for smaller tanks like this, which they're not quite really geared for, I mean, Nualgi's on quite the scale. I know they've done experiments on lakes even. But for anything smaller than 30 gallons, or an in-between size like a 55 or 75, the smaller markings does make the dosing a lot easier. So just a possible suggestion there. But yeah, so we'll get this dosing done. Just a little squirt there. Make sure it's good and mixed in. Pull some tank water out. And repeat with that with my other two tanks. And we got the 20 long, the 0.8 milliliter dose. Do it the same way. Let's give it a shot there. And clean it out, make sure you get it all in there. Same style that Jay Whistler is doing is dosing as well. You want to make sure your syringe is cleaned out. Make sure you're getting everything in there. This tank, hoping to see improvement with, especially on the rock here. You can see it. I have a lot of old blue-green algae, cyanobacteria. I've been able to keep it off plants for the most part, but like on that leaf there, you can see it around the edges. I mean, there's imbalances like that where no matter how many water changes I've done, no matter how good I try to keep this water quality, how clean I keep this tank, it's just something somewhere. It's out of balance. Hopefully Nualgi will do what it's meant to do and finds all that stuff on top of normal husbandry and balances it out. So on to dosing the 100, which my calculations are right. It is a 3.05 milliliter dose. And here we are at the 100. 3 millimeter dose. 3.05, smidge over the line. Because even this syringe, it's the only one I could get without a prescription, was 0.2 milliliter markings. And get that extra water out of there. There we go. This is a 12-week trial. You dose, like I said, the 1 point for fresh water is 1.25 milliliters per 30 gallons of tank, including filtration. You do that once every 4 days. So I will be dosing again on Thursday, and then the following Monday. I'll do my normal Sunday updates. I'm sure after the first week you won't really be able to notice much change, but if I notice any, I will be sure to point it out. But I've read from the reviews that I've read, usually about the 4-week mark is the when you look at the before and afters. At that point, you can really notice where things start to kick in. It is a little slower to act in freshwater environments than saltwater. So it might be 5-6 weeks, but you guys will be with me on this adventure of testing this new product. It is retail available at Nualgi.com. It just became retail available, and you can also sign up for a free sample there and see if it is what you want it to be. So until next Sunday, I bid you all adieu.